under paragraph 21A.
Under 21A, group number 4 consists of petition number 19, again filed by legislator belonging to the UBT faction. Under 21B, challenging the defiance of whip with regards to the speaker's election. Group number 6 consists of petition number 21, again filed by legislator belonging to the UBT faction under 21B with regards to defiance of whip for the confidence motion. Group number 5 consists of petition number 22 to 24, which has been filed by legislator belonging to the Shinde faction under 21A and 21B. Group 2 consists of petition number 17, which has been filed against certain independents and members belonging to other parties under 2 subclause 2. So we shall, before I proceed with the judgment, pronouncement of the order, I would like to express my sincere gratitude towards the Honorable Supreme Court of India, which has provided an extremely guiding force by way of its order, whereby they have given a direction to the whole adjudication of the issues being decided in the proceedings today. Therefore, I would at the outset express my gratitude towards the Apex Court. At the same time, I would like to express acknowledgement and a big thank you to the staff of the state legislature who have assisted me and the paralegal assistance which I have received from them during the course of the conduct of these proceedings pertaining to disqualification. I would also like to appreciate the cooperation which I have got from counsels appearing on both the sides, and I shall now proceed with the pronouncement of the order. As we are aware that there are certain preliminary issues which are applicable to all the 5 groups out of the 6 groups, and therefore I shall first commence with my ruling on the preliminary issues which concern all the 5 groups. Thereafter, I shall pronounce the operative part of the orders concerning each group and the relevant and important paragraphs pertaining to each group. So we shall commence with group number 1. Preliminary issues. The Honorable Supreme Court in Subhash Desai Supra versus the Governor of Maharashtra, hereinafter referred to as Subhash Desai, was pleased to direct that the Speaker should prima facie determine who the real political party is for the purpose of adjudicating disqualification petitions if 2 or more factions claim to be that political party, and accordingly shall recognize the whip and the leader who were duly authorized by the Shiv Sena political party, keeping with the principles discussed in the said judgment. Hence, keeping in view the factual matrix and the directions of the Honorable Supreme Court, I will prima facie determine who the political party is for the purpose of adjudicating disqualification petitions if 2 or more factions claim to be that political party, and accordingly recognize the whip and the leader who are duly authorized by Shiv Sena political party. Keeping in mind principles discussed in Subhash Desai Supra, it is necessary to consider and determine the said preliminary issue before examining the merits and deciding whether respondents have incurred disqualification under the 10th schedule of the Constitution of India. Thus, the preliminary issue that arises for my consideration before delving into the merits of disqualification petitions under the 10th schedule is, which among the two fractions was the real Shiv Sena political party, and consequently who was the duly authorized leader and or the whip of Shiv Sena political party for the purpose of deciding the present disqualification petition. The other issue framed for my consideration in this group of disqualification petition is whether the respondents have incurred disqualification in terms of paragraph 21A of the 10th schedule of the Constitution of India on account of their alleged acts and conduct. Paragraph 84 deals with the principles which have been laid down by the Honorable Supreme Court. I am not going to read out those are a part of my order. I'll come to paragraph number 85 now. Thus, what emerges from the principles laid down by the Honorable Apex Court in that the question of who the real political party is has to be considered and determined after giving due weightage to 1. The Constitution of Shiv Sena, 2. The leadership structure of the party, and 3. The legislative majority if two or more factions claim to be real political party. The question of who the real political party is hereinafter referred to as the preliminary issue. Since in these proceedings both in the previous paragraphs I have recorded the submissions made by both the parties. I will come down to my observations and conclusions with regards to the preliminary issues. As stated earlier, the decision of the preliminary issue has to be taken after careful analysis of the Constitution of Shiv Sena, the leadership structure of the party and the legislative party majority. After having heard both sides on the above aspect, I now propose to proceed to record my observations and finding on the preliminary issue. As is evident from the submissions of the parties, there is no consensus on the Constitution submitted to the Election Commission of India with consent of both the factions. Likewise, the parties have different point of view on the leadership structure which has to be taken into consideration. The only aspect which is undisputed is the majority in the legislature party. Hence, to embark upon the finding on the preliminary issue, I will have to decide the relevant constitution which has to be taken into account. 2. The leadership structure which existed before the dispute arose. Further, it will also have to be determined as to when the rival factions emerged. Petitioner's assertion that the Constitution of the year 2018 is the relevant constitution which has to be taken into account for the purpose of determining the preliminary issue is based on the submission that 1. The 2018 Constitution has to be considered as both the parties have relied upon the 2018 amended Constitution and acted thereupon. 2. The Election Commission in its order dated 17/2/2023 in dispute case number 1 of 2022 has held that both the parties were aware of the 2018 amendment and thus the said Constitution of 2018 has to be taken as the Constitution which is done with the consent of both the factions, as the said Constitution of 2018 was never disputed prior to the initiation of these disqualification petitions and the same was never challenged. 3. Respondents have themselves admitted and relied on the said Constitution of 2018. And 4. The statement of Sri Yogesh Kadam that the filing of 2018 Constitution along with the respondent's reply was a mistake done by the lawyers cannot be accepted, as the said statement is an afterthought and done only with the intention to mitigate the damaging statements made by Sri Dilip Lande. To the contrary, respondents have asserted that the Constitution of the year 1999 has to be the one which has to be borne in mind, as according to the respondents, the Constitution of the year 2018 was never submitted to the ECI. Respondents pointed out to the letter dated 4th April 2018 by way of which the petitioner based their claims of submissions of the said constitution to the ECI. By pointing out to the same, respondent submitted that both the said letters do not mention anything about the purported amendments to the constitution or submission of the same thereof to the ECI. A similar claim was made with respect to the letter dated 27/2/2018 by Shri Uddhav Thackeray in the special leave petition number 3997 of 2022. However, in the said SLP, there was no mention about the existence of any such letter dated 4th April 2018. The word submitted appearing in paragraph 168 of Subhash Desai means submitted before the ECI, as is evident from the further part of the said paragraph, which the petitioner has conveniently ignored. The respondents have further submitted that 2018 Constitution has been wrongly annexed as a document. The stand of the respondent on the 2018 Constitution has always been that it is unconstitutional and was secretly manufactured by Shri Uddhav Thackeray in cahoots with Mr. Anil Desai. This stand has been specifically taken in the reply filed by Shri Eknath Shinde before the Honorable Supreme Court in SLP number 3997 of 2023, way back on 16/3/2023, much before filing of the replies before the Speaker in August 2023. Further, even the additional replies filed on 25/10/2023 in the present proceedings, the aforesaid petition has been reiterated by the respondents. After having considered the submissions advanced by both the parties on the question as to which is the relevant constitution for the purpose of determination of the preliminary issue, I have come to the following conclusion. A. As per the Honorable Apex Court, if both the factions have submitted different versions of the constitution of the party, then in that case, what has to be taken into account is the constitution which was submitted to the ECI with the consent of both parties before the rival factions emerged. Before recording further conclusions, I find it imperative to reiterate that pursuant to the initiation of these disqualifications, the Maharashtra Legislature Secretariat had vide letter dated 7 June 2023 requested the Office of the Election Commission of India to provide a copy of the party constitution / memorandum / rules and regulations